The passing away of Queen Elizabeth II of Britain has brought up so much controversy, especially in Africa. There are people who are mourning her, who are mourning her loss, who are mourning with the people of England. And there are other people who do not feel any shred of sympathy for her. They blame her for some of the things that went wrong in Africa, especially people in South Africa blame her for being part of the apartheid regime. Like you guys know, apartheid was the worst thing to happen to the South African people. Also, the people in Kenya blame her for being involved in the genocide that killed many, many Kenyans who were fighting for freedom and liberty of their fatherland. Many people have their reservations. Many people have their reasons either for mourning her or for not even acknowledging her death. Like anything in this world, there are always two sides. Some people are for and others are against. That is how things are. And if you are somebody who watch a lot of videos or who likes to listen to people talk and also hear people's opinion, then sometimes you come across a video or you hear someone said something that really gets your mind thinking. So yesterday I was watching YouTube like I usually do, and I came across this video by Trevor. Trevor is a South African who lives and works in the US. He is the host of The Daily Show. He is also a stand-up comedian. And if you listen to what he says, you would really understand both sides of the story or both sides of the argument. You know, he is somebody whom I have always admired his take on things. He has an interesting way of putting things into context and making them make a lot of sense. He gave a really, really interesting analysis on why some people might not want to mourn the Queen. So before I continue with this conversation, I just want you to watch this video and then listen carefully to what he is saying. Okay, so watch.
You know, this whole Queen saga has been an interesting insight into how people see the world around them. You know, because obviously the Queen passed away at the age of 96. She's had a good run. She did, 96. Like, you've lived your best life. My grand passed away at 96. It was the same thing. As a family, obviously you're sad to let somebody go, but it's 96. You celebrate that the person's lived the life. They've lived it fully, you know? And what was fascinating to me was seeing how angry people were that not everybody had the same opinion of the Queen and how much they wanted other people to have that in a really ignorant way, to be honest, you know? Because the Queen dies. Obviously, there will be people who mourn, you know? There's people who mourn because she symbolizes a nation. There will be people who mourn because they've grown up with her their entire lives. There will be people who mourn because she's a family member, she's a grandmother, she's a mother, whatever we get that. But I'm shocked that people want others who were under the British Empire to share the same level of mourning. Why would they do it? People are like, show some respect. This person died, and people are like, so what? Like everywhere, you know what I mean? All over Africa, you know, all over India, there's so many places in the world where people go, yeah, but do you know what the British Empire did to us? And people are like, but that's somebody's grandmother. Just show some reverence. And I actually found it interesting because I was like, you know what it is most of the time? it's not about respecting the person or what they've done or what they have. In a weird way, it's that people have this strange reverence for fame. You know, it's that a famous person has gone, and so everyone must respect them, regardless of what the famous person is famous for. You can't say to people who have been oppressed by the British Crown that they should not in some way, shape, or form say whatever they want. First of all, the person's gone, right? It's not like they're crying wherever they are. They're gone. That's the first thing to admit. Right? And secondly, you can't expect people to show respect for something that never respected them. You know? You can't expect people... You can't expect people to now buy into this idea that never respected or bought into theirs. I mean, the crown went from country to country. South Africa, we grew up as British subjects in that way, like we still had that impression. In other countries, it was even more pronounced. You know, you go all around the Caribbean, you go to India, you go all over the world, really, everywhere the empire was. And people go, oh, this is why we still have to dress this way. We were told that our clothes were primitive or tribal by the British. You know, our languages were squashed, our cultures were discarded. That wasn't respect. And people are like, yeah, but she's a grandmother. And I go like, yeah, but the people who were her subjects were also grandmothers. You know what I mean? My grandmother literally used to tell me stories about the Queen. Like my grandmother also died at the age of 96. You know, my grandmother lived a very different life to the Queen. And it's not about comparing the people, it's just saying that she had a different perspective of the Queen. Funny enough, my gran never like hated the Queen or anything. I find most African parents and some in like parts of Asia where the empire ruled, they were more shocked than anything else. You know, like older people of color were more just like, what? They're like, the Queen is, wow. This is like it's a moment in time that reminds them of so much and where the country was and how they were in Kenya, South Africa, you know, parts of Southern Africa, or you can feel that people, they still understand that it's a momentous occasion, you know, but you can't expect them to mourn it in the same way. And I think that's something we struggle with in life sometimes, is understanding that our relationship with somebody may not be the relationship that other people had with that person. And that's fine. You can say, hey, this is my queen. I still love what she represents. Yeah, that's your queen. But don't expect everybody else to now adopt, because basically what you're doing is now recolonizing the people and being like, this is who you support, this is who you cheer for, this. No. You do your mourning, and they'll live their lives.
Okay, you guys have watched the video and have heard what he said. And if you listen carefully, you will see that what he is saying makes a lot of sense. People have different relationships with other people. You might hate somebody. That does not necessarily mean that I hate that person. You might love somebody. That does not necessarily mean that I have to love the person. Someone might be kind to you. It doesn't necessarily mean that that person will be kind to me. People have different relationships with other people. And it's very okay. People are only as important to you as the things they share in common with you. The Queen is a mother, is a grandmom, is a great grandma, is the leader of the Commonwealth, is the Queen of the United Kingdom. So he's a very, very important person. And many people around the world will mourn her. And it's okay. And there are some people who do not feel the need to mourn her. Those people who think that the Queen didn't or wasn't or hasn't represented their values. There are people who feel that her 70 years reign as the British monarch did not impact their lives in any way. There are people who feel that she should have done more for them or for their countries than she did. Some people view her as a calm, steadfast, enduring person, a person of knowledge and wisdom, as someone who brought the world together, as someone who is history. And some people do not share those sentiments. Some people view her as being part of the problems they are facing. So people have different opinions on her, like I said before, and no one should be quick to judge the other. Now, if people in Africa feel the need not to mourn the queen, it's their right to do that. And no one has to condemn them or has to force them to do it. Likewise, other people who love the queen, who revere the queen, can mourn her, and no one has the right to condemn them for mourning her. So people must always learn that sometimes we can always agree to disagree, and we can always have different views and opinions about many things. I do believe that Trevor Noah is one of those people who really understands how things go and how people feel across the board. I wish there were many people like him who are willing or who can give a balanced argument to a given issue. I wish we had many people like him. It will really help us move forward. So, my brothers and sisters, after watching the video by Trevor Noah, what do you think about what he said? Does it resonate with you? Please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And one more thing, if you came across any story on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, or on Instagram, and you thought it was worth sharing with the rest of the world, please send it to us and we shall talk about it on this show. And also, you can support us with $1 or more through the craft from the website Patreon or directly to us through our PayPal account. Find unrelated links and method on how you can support us on this channel description section. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.